Welcome to the Transformation Tuesday podcast. It's been a while since I've done a broadcast, and I'm super excited. Today, I have a special guest. For those who are new to my podcast, I want to say that this started a couple of years ago with a deep desire to uncover the truth about the mysterious world of what Tantra really is and to bring Tantra out of the shadows. And so I began doing these podcasts and posting them in very public places, having interviews and discussions with facilitators, coaches, healers in the space, and having primarily just discussions around how people came through a and got into Tantra. And I've noticed a prevailing theme among many who have stepped into this world. And learned a lot in the process and really helped the public better understand the true nature of what tantra really is, because it is really it is a mystery. And typically, in order to really learn about tantra, most people attend some sort of mystery school, and you're sequestered in a jungle or at a retreat center for anywhere from a few days to a few weeks at a time to really get a deep understanding. And so the podcast is really about just uncovering some of those things that you might have learned about in those ashrams or in the jungles or at those retreat centers. And yeah, and today's guest is a very special guest, a friend of mine that I've known for about 7 years, I think now,
Yep.
about that. And she's built her entire life around something that we all crave but often struggle to find. And what that is just really deep, authentic connection. And April is known internationally as the queen of connection and intimacy, and she's made it her personal mission to help people forge genuine bonds within themselves and others, which is very much in alignment with the tantric path. And April's a very charismatic individual, TV and podcast host. She's a model, an actress, what really drives her work is something much deeper. She's very passionate about suicide prevention and with a clear mission to end suicide through the power of human connection. In her workshops and her coaching and her conversations, no topic is off limits. And that openness that she provides has resonated with audiences around the world. She's not just talking about connection, she's living it, creating it, and showing us all how transformative connection can be. So I'm excited to dive right into this conversation with April Ross. And April Ross, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor and a privilege. And yeah, I'm so grateful to be having this conversation. And it really is, as you mentioned, my life's journey to forge deeper connection. And especially these last couple of years, finding that more and more within myself has really helped me guide other people deep into themselves, people from all walks of life. Recently, I've been focusing more on entrepreneurs and spiritual healers and bringing them together and bringing out money shadows. But the through line with that is still deep connection within yourself because you can only meet each individual area of your life to the extent that you've been willing to dig into the shadows of your own self, and you have to alchemize and recognize and see everything that you have probably been afraid of or even unaware of in order to do that. And it can be a confronting process, but when you do it in community, as you well know, it becomes a liberating process and a process that is abundant in connection, and intimacy. And what I love about Tantra and this word intimacy in our culture, we're taught that that just means sex. And
Yeah,
and the truth is intimacy first happens with yourself and being able to see the things that have brought guilt and shame to you. And we're often harder on ourselves than we are of others. So when we empty our cup of that, guilt and shame and we bring in feelings of love and appreciation for ourselves, that's when we can actually see those same things within other people. And we can then hold space for where, they've guilted and shamed themselves for whatever their journey's been. And when we can share experiences and learn. And the other thing that I've found is the more I can alchemize these things within myself, the more I can also sit with different versions of myself that other people see that I haven't been aware of without feeling like there's something wrong with me. And the more I can see a difference of opinion and a different experience someone has had and really learn from that. And that, building on that type of intimacy is, I mean, and that's what expands, your ability to connect in bed and elsewhere and in your business. It's like if you can't meet someone where they're at, then there isn't connection there. But when you can meet someone where they're at, that connection, like mind, body, soul connection, it just creates a level of pleasure, intimacy, and like a lot of people throw around the term abundance, meaning very different things,
Mm.
but an abundance and a fulfillment that is, I don't think, accessible unless we do that. Anyway, there was my soapbox
Yeah, no, it's
conversation.
beautiful, and I appreciate it because you have just front loaded us with just tons of things to talk about during
Yeah.
our conversation here, and I really resonate with it um, in my own personal journey and study and practices within Tantra. I have found some incredibly life-changing tools, and I love what you are doing with your work, and you're taking these tools and you're applying them in a way that I've not known any other tantrika to use them, and I'm fascinated by it, and I'm sure that for those who are new to tantra, who don't really know what tantra is all about, the word tantra, which comes from the Sanskrit language from India, the word translates meaning to weave and loom. It brings many things together. And in the old classic version of Tantra, they were very strict about the practices and the protocols and the philosophy. And Neo-Tantra has like looked at all of that and said, hold on a second. Are we really practicing Tantra if we just keep following this old paradigm with gurus and such? And so the big difference between Neo-Tantra and classic Tantra is Neo-Tantra really looks to honor the teachings and weave together many things that may or may not be part of classic Tantra, including what you're doing, where you're now weaving in the philosophy and looking at ways to examine the shadow side of business, finance, money. These are topics that are hot topics. I grew up in a household where there were certain topics we were told we did not speak of in quote unquote polite company, and money was one of them. Sex, intimacy were also topics we didn't discuss. Of course, politics, religion, race were all part of that as well. That, and I think that's what really draws me to the tantric path, is it takes a look at all those things that we've been encoded to believe and have fear, shame, and guilt around, and say, hey, you know what? Let's re-examine those beliefs and the beliefs about why we believe what we believe, and look at it. And I love this because it becomes a giant thought experiment in which the path to liberation becomes even greater, even broader, even bigger possibilities. And so I know as I watched you step into this world where you're like, you know what? I'm going to see what happens when I mix this world of Tantra that we're in with this world of money, finances, wealth, abundance that everyone is saying is impossible. And let's see what possibility we can create from that. I love that. Like, I want to talk about this. I could talk about this all day, but we do need to stay focused because I don't want our podcast to be 3 hours long. We gotta keep it condensed. So where would you like to go from here?
I want to just kind of riff off of what you just said and, why I got into this current path that I'm on. I've been practicing Tantra and doing sessions since 2019, but I've also got a background in business. And one of the things that I noticed that was just paining me, it was killing me inside, was seeing all of these incredible spiritual healers who know how to live the most happy and abundant life and who are traveling the world helping and healing people, and seeing them not being able to afford to have a home base. And then on the other hand, I love my entrepreneur communities, but, I have a saying, it's like the tight ass entrepreneurs. They have all the money, but they sacrifice, they're married to the hustle. And so their relationships fall apart because they don't know how to find balance. And Tantra can bring these two communities together to cross pollinate with each other so that everyone can be balanced and abundant, both in love and in money. And so, like, as you mentioned, it's like it's a thought experiment, but it's also helping people on both sides become more embodied and shedding what's not working. And so I find it so intriguing that on the tantric side, the way we would explain this is like we're going deep into our shadows and we're alchemizing. On the business side, we talk about, scaling and creating something bigger. And to actually do both of those and integrate them at the same time is really fascinating for me.
Yeah, I mean, the conceptually, it's just amazing. So, how are you going to do this?
I am already doing it. I actually just got off the phone call with a client. She's a holistic healer. Really, she's been afraid to step into her power. And she's finally getting a good number of clients. And, we just had a really deep tantric trauma release session last week. And as she's explaining the process she's going through, and like her body is just giving her a lot of physical release. And she said, she's like, I'm afraid that I'm putting my business process on hold while I'm letting my body go through this. I'm like, no, you are right on time. And that is the path. It's like we let our body go through the shedding that it needs to go through because that's what creates the expansion. Thinking of a snake, right, as a typical tantric example. You shed the skin, you feel completely naked and uncomfortable for a time, but that's how you actually expand. You get bigger. So now you can take in more love, wealth, whatever it is. And that's the path. It's beautiful. It's like just expanding who we are.
I love that. And um, let's talk about your upcoming workshop
Yes.
because that's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the workshop, and I did attend one in the past, and I was really impressed with how you merged like this spiritual concepts with like a in a business container, and it was held really well with a professional presentation, and it was really, I felt, a way that would connect with people who are new to Tantra, who are looking to improve their lives and their finances, which is not something that most people are coming into Tantra for, because this is wildly held belief. At least I presume this is wildly held belief that if you're on a spiritual path, you're gonna suffer financially.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about your event.
Yeah, yeah. So it's called Wealth, Freedom, and Intimacy. And shameless self plug, the link for all of my events is right here in my title. And yeah, the structure of it is it's a set of three experiences where usually two have to do with Tantra, one has to do with business, and they're a bit different every time based on which, co-facilitators I bring in. And so we will look at energetics and how to tap into the body and what you're feeling, because usually what's holding us back in business and in our creativity isn't mental. It's something that we haven't unearthed within ourselves. So there's always some kind of connection exercise to open us up at the very beginning. Like, what have we not been noticing about ourselves that's actually our next level in our embodiment and in our business? Then usually in the middle, I sandwich something business related. So like a hot seat mastermind. Let's figure out, how we can help each other. Or I will bring in someone, who talks about trusts or financial management. So no matter what your background is, you have something tangible to take away. And I like to say, instead of having a to-do list, like there's a to-done list that you've created at the end. So maybe you've made a connection, somebody's made a connection for you, or you have this new next step. And then at the end, I like to bring in, another tantric or integration piece that pretty much ties a bow on the entire experience so that you walk out a different person than you walked in, and you're more empowered in your connection to yourself, connection to others, and in your business.
This sounds pretty amazing. And yeah, again, April has put the link in her signature there. April looks like
Yep.
luma.com/April Ross. There we
You
go.
got it.
If you're interested, I'll put that in text when we post this as well. And the next one is when?
Yeah, the next one is this Sunday, October 19th in San Diego. And I've also got one scheduled in Orange County on November 30th. And I'm looking to bring this to more cities. So the Tantrapreneur movement is going to be moving into a chapter model. And so I'm also looking for leaders, both in business and in Tantra, in cities right now across the US. So if that's something you're interested in being, a captain of, definitely reach out to me as well.
That's beautiful. Thank you, April. Yeah, so it's this Sunday. The details are there at the link. It goes from noon till is it noon? Or one.
We're going from 1:30, doors open at 1:30 and close at 2, and then we're going to go technically until 9, but we'll wrap up and have dinner and networking at 8.
Okay. All right. Oh, dinner.
Yeah.
It's like the
Dinner.
bribe. Get people to stay to the bitter end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I
It's
remember
not a bitter end. It's a juicy end.
juicy end. That's experience. April, I can't think of anything else to ask you. You just like you just opened up and shared everything from your heart. So I don't really have too many more questions. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Just if people have questions, feel free to get in touch with me. As you can see, I'm an open book. I love to help people. And, I offer everybody a free 15-minute clarity call. So if this is something you're curious about, you have a question, reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out to me.
Thank you, April.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, appreciate it. So this has been the Transformation Tuesday podcast, and wherever you're getting to view this at, whether it be live or whatnot, you can communicate with me directly through any of those channels. I am the Heart-Centered Being, Shiva J, aka the Heart-Centered Being, and you can find me on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn under the same moniker. Also on YouTube is the same moniker. On all the channels, actually, the Heart-Centered Being. And April's got her tag there, luma.com/April Ross. And
Yeah.
thanks for
And
tuning in.
I'm also, look up Tantrapreneur, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and LinkedIn as April Ross.
It's beautiful. I love that we're all jumping on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for playing along.